questions about progressing labor quickly and smoothly. Okay, so how can we help progress labor? There are ways that we can help progress labor along. One, to have a quicker labor, and two, to have a smoother labor. Number one, oxytocin. Okay, so especially those early stages of labor. This is why I always encourage women to birth where they feel most safe, because you're going to be more apt to produce oxytocin where you feel safe and where you feel comfortable. Okay. So attempt to have the people around you that make you feel most safe, the people around you that give you those feel good hormones. Okay. Um, if you are up to it, have sex in early labor. I'm not saying full blown labor. If you're like me, I'm like, nah, I'm not feeling that I'm most sexy right now. I'm not trying to do it while I'm in labor. But if you're in those early stages where you're like, I feel like things are trying to get going, I feel like oxytocin, the feel good hormone, that is released during sex. That's released when we feel good. Okay. And if you're like, well, what if my husband's at work or whatever? You don't need them. No, but you can, like, nipple stimulation is big. You can also use a pump to help with that. I actually doulaed one of my friends last year. She her water broke while she was using a pump. I also used a pump for the first time while I was in labor with Waylon. Whenever I knew, okay, things are like right there. I feel like I'm trying to go into labor. Am I going to labor? And they kind of helped contractions to pick up. So oxytocin, feel good hormones really help labor to start progressing. Okay. Laughing is even one, just like, don't lean into I think a lot of women, especially if it's your first, lean into like this whole anxiety ridden kind of like, is this it? Is this not it? Oh, and they get so inside their head. And it's like, just relax, let it be, laugh, be with the people you love, and have all those feel good hormones like play a role. Okay. Because they do. Number two, movement. Movement is big. Okay. Especially if you're in early labor, you can go on a walk. That can help pick contractions up. But if you are in active labor, this is big too. And when I talk about movement during labor, I'm not saying you need to go out and walk miles and miles while you're in active labor or go into all these squats and lunges and all that. Movement, small movement, intentional movement can play a big, big role in keeping things progressing. So small, like pelvic tilts. That was big for me in having Waylon. Those were so beneficial to help him engage. Just small little like posterior pelvic tilts, kind of tucking my pelvis underneath me a little bit. Even like if you get on all fours, you can get on all fours. You can get in all four, like a kneeling lunge position in this position here. One thing I loved to do whenever I was in labor with Waylon was standing. Gravity is big, but standing, and then I would put one knee, let me see if you can see me, one knee up on my bed here, and then I would pelvic tilt and then do a small little squat. It's kind of hard because this is not tall enough, but here, knee up, and as I would squat down, I would just give a small little posterior pelvic tilt. And holy smokes, those just really, really got him to engage and move down. And so if you can do small little intentional movements where you're like, I can feel the progression, I can feel baby engaging, I can feel baby moving down, then stay in those positions, right? Same thing, sitting on the toilet. Sitting on the toilet is a massive mind to body, allowing the pelvic floor to relax, which is massive to help labor to progress. We'll get into that more here in a second. But movement, small intentional movement is big, big, big to help labor progress. Okay. Which that kind of leads me into this third one, which is surrender. Okay. I talk about this a lot in my birth prep program. Surrender where it is most intense. Okay. And if you're pregnant and you've not had a baby before, if you're pregnant with your first, I'm going to kind of explain what I mean by this. Surrender to where it is most intense. A lot of times when women are in labor, they want to retreat to where the positions feel most comfortable. Okay. But we cannot forget the task at hand, which is to birth your baby. right? If you keep retreating to where it feels most comfortable and where you feel the most relaxed, that's going to slow labor down. If you go to the places that are most intense and then you surrender there and you say, I'm going to relax here, even when it's really intense, even when I feel that pressure, or I feel those big contractions or waves or whatever term that you want to use with contractions, right? Is you surrender in those positions, and that's going to help progress labor because that is what's bringing you your baby. Okay. When we retreat to what's most comfortable, that, like I said, that's going to slow things down a bit. Okay. So our breath and pelvic floor relaxation are two big keys here too. This is the last thing I'm going to talk about when it comes to progressing labor. If you can go to those places that are most intense, you can connect to your breath. Breathe baby down, sending your breath down, keeping your pelvic floor as relaxed as possible. Then you stay in those positions. That's going to help progress labor. Okay. We want to stay away from just sticking in one. And listen, I know this firsthand because my first two births were 15 hours long, start to finish. And when I knew I was in active labor, I retreated. I got on my side. I had a peanut ball or my pregnancy pillow between my legs, and I laid there for a significant amount of time. And I remember thinking, I can feel myself dilating. I can feel this happening. And I thought I was doing a great job staying there because I knew that things were progressing, but it was progressing fairly slow. Okay. And so now after having him, I'm like, man, what a difference. Small movement, surrendering to those positions that are most intense, how much that progressed labor. Because I had him in 3.5 hours, start to finish. So big, big, big benefit to these few things here.